Hey Drawing One, how are we doing today? Yesterday we began our project by starting to construct a piece of paper that we would use to do the actual project on. And I had you guys kind of glue together some pieces of paper to get something roughly around 12 by 15. If you had the piece of paper already that was that size, great, wonderful, but if you needed to kind of construct it, like I used some pieces of junk mail and I just kind of glued them together using some syrup, and yeah, like that worked out really good. And then we made a little 1/2 inch border around it, and that was your assignment for yesterday. So we had to just get our paper. Normally we would just pull some paper out and be ready to go, but this kind of warrants a little bit more time and a little bit more preparation, so that's okay. Slowing down is kind of a good way of handling this isolation situation. So today, we're going to start planning out our project. And actually, speaking of the isolation, we're going to make our project based on kind of how we're handling being isolated at home. And so I want you guys to start out today by making a list. I am going to use a piece of brown paper bag. Like, you might have paper or whatever, sketchbook or something like that you can just do this in. But if you don't, like I assume most people have, again, scrap pieces of paper. Brown paper bags are great. I have a ton of them. So I'm just going to use that for making my lists on and kind of planning out my project. I want you to think about, like I said, the emotions that you're feeling with this. And maybe you've just had like a glimmer of those emotions, and maybe they've been a little bit more in depth. But so like the first emotion like that I am going to jot down is uncertainty. All right, so uncertainty. Spelling doesn't count. All right, so uncertainty, like, I mean, I don't know what's going on. I don't know when we're going back to school. Everything kind of changes. Like, can we do live video with you guys? Can we just record? You guys don't have YouTube access or internet access or whatever. Like, these things like create issues as far as how school's gonna work. And obviously, like, that's just school. There's so many other things that can kind of get involved. So some people are scared. Okay, so we'll write down scared. Obviously, there's a fear of getting sick, and then that goes back to uncertainty. Like, how bad will it be? Like, some people are saying that, you know, this is just like a mild thing and you get a fever and like whatever and it's not a big deal. And then there's people dying, and like, that's scary. Like, we don't know what's happening. Like, the other thing too is, like, we could maybe, you know, need groceries and go to the grocery store and we get infected, or we transfer it to another person and they get bothered or hurt, you know, in some way by that. So it's definitely a little bit scary. Okay, lonely. All right, so being lonely, like, we are isolated from other people, and like, I'm a single guy, like, it's me and my dog, and we're just like hanging out here at my house, and yeah, that definitely is lonely. And so, like, not being able to interact with other people. I like people. I like hanging out with you kids. I like going and doing things. Like, I'm a super active, outdoorsy person, and like, I'm still getting outside and riding my bike or getting out and going to like the dog park or something like that and like getting my dog some exercise. But, you know, it's not the same as like hanging out with my friends or going out for dinner or going and seeing my parents or something like that. So there's that. So like, worried. Okay, again, this kind of filters in with that scared, uncertainty, whatever, like just not knowing like what's gonna happen. Being concerned about, you know, like maybe like how your family's bringing in money. Like, a lot of people have lost jobs in this or laid off or whatever. Like, where are you gonna get money for food and stuff like that? Like, this is there's definitely a lot of things to be concerned about. All right, and worried. Okay, sad. All right, again, if you're alone, like, that's kind of sad, right? And if you are missing out on things, like there was maybe a trip that you guys were going to go on, or maybe you were going to do something fun with your friends or a concert or something and it got canceled. I mean, I know people that, you know, were going to get married, or they were, you know, going to go they had this big thing planned and the whole thing got shut down because of this. And like, that's sad. It's, you know, frustrating. Seniors are looking at graduation, and it's like your senior year and you were going to go to, prom, or you were gonna go do whatever, and like instead you're stuck at home. All right, and like that's sad, and that's kind of unfortunate. Like we'll prevail, we'll go on, but like it's still unfortunate. All right, bored. Okay, like how many people are bored? All right, like I know a lot of kids are stuck in small houses or whatever, and you got video games and you don't have a whole lot else to do. All right, and I, for one, am not a video game person. Like I would be bored out of my mind if that was all like I had the options of, and like it would be frustrating for me. Okay, to be stuck in that situation. But, and I know that, again, some of you are handling this well, and like you're like, oh my gosh, I can sit and I can read, or I can, just do some projects at home or do things that like fill the time. But I know there's a lot of bored kids out there. Okay, really. So, anyways, this list, you guys could go on and on. Like I'm sure every single one of you has had different emotions as you've thought through like what's been happening. I want you to pick one that's really resonated with you and really been something that you've kind of like had to deal with this. And then from there, you guys, I want you to think about how you can positively deal with this stuff. Okay? So like if you're lonely, for example, like how could you positively handle that? And I want you just to like shoot some things off of there. So like for example, for lonely, maybe I would say, well, if I'm lonely, I can jump on some sort of chat thing like online, and I can chat with my friends and like see their faces. They can see my face. We can interact like maybe on Zoom or Hangouts, or like you can FaceTime with people. There's a lot of different things that we can do to connect. All right, so like there's ways to kind of sort through that. So maybe I'd jot that down. That's how I, or maybe if you're bored, like maybe like for me, I like I said, I'm an active person. So like if I'm bored, number one, like I have a house. Like I have little projects. I can clean my house. I've got all this like junk in my basement that I can sort through. Like I like to do yoga. So like I jump on YouTube and I play a yoga thing and I do yoga. Or I have my backyard and I can go outside and I can dig and I can build jumps and I can ride my bike and I can do a lot of stuff like right here at my house. If I'm bored, like I can like clean, I can cook, I can do yoga, I'm just gonna keep this like spreading out. I can, dig and ride, and I can, like I've got tons and tons and tons of stuff that I can do right at my house. All right. So from there, you guys, so you've picked an emotion, then you're thinking about ways that you can deal with the emotion. So that's like your second like list of things. All right. And then I want you to start thinking about how you could illustrate this. All right. So you have kind of like this negative moving into a positive, and it's almost going to be kind of like a comic, like a 2 to 4 frame comic. All right. And so I want you to start thinking about, okay, what does that look like? So if I'm bored, all right, what does that look like? So, maybe like for me, I could like kind of illustrate this, like maybe, it's like me sitting in front of like here's like me, here's my shoulders and like whatever. And I'm sitting in front of, this is my computer. There's like my little Apple, on there. And then there's like all these like things that are popping up like around me. Okay. And like, these are things that like are maybe inundating me with like, social media and all the negativity and stuff like that. Maybe like I have that, or maybe, like I'm just gonna like doodle out some different ideas of what my emotions. So bored, like maybe that wouldn't be the best one for bored, but maybe, for bored, like I would just be sitting there and I would just be like, my like head's propped up on my hand and I'm just like kind of sitting there and I'm just, like at my table and I'm just like not like excited about what's going on. And I'm just bored and I'm, whatever. So like, I want you to doodle, again, like using your paper here, I want you to doodle out some ideas of what that could look like, all right? And from there, like, I want you to think about, like I said, I want you to, like, ideally, like, we're looking at 3 to 4 frames for this comic, all right? So think about a page. So we've got our 12 by 15 inch piece of paper. We're gonna have like three or four frames like within it. So the first one is like that initial like bad emotion. So like I've got like if I'm bored, okay, so like that's my thing. So like my second thing is gonna be like a transition, between the good and the bad. So like my good, all right, so like maybe like I'm gonna have my good be like me outside and I'm like hitting a jump and you know like on my bike here and like this is me in the air and I'm like hitting the jump and like maybe Sherman's like hanging out here, like there's a little Sherman. And again, like guys, these drawings that I'm doing, are these in-depth drawings? No, they are not. They are thumbnail drawings. They are super simple, you guys. They're just like easy little quick ideas, but like I can kind of like rough in, you know, like what's going to be happening, like what's going to be happening in my image. So, I mean, obviously like, I could redraw. So like if it's me doing something, or maybe it's me digging, maybe it's me doing yoga, maybe it's me cooking, maybe it's whatever. I could illustrate a variety of things within this last picture. Maybe I had like, you know, maybe it's segmented. So like maybe, you know, like the picture, you know, is like segmented into like different parts and me doing something here and here and here. Maybe like this big picture, maybe like over here, like it shows me like digging and over here it shows me doing something else, whatever. So I want you to kind of doodle out, you guys, what the good. So like you got your negative emotion and then how you're dealing with it like more positively. So you got your positive, you got your negative. And then in between, ideally we have kind of a transition. All right, we've got some sort of an image of transitioning from our negative to our positive, okay? And so I'm gonna have for like this one, like I was thinking, so like I'm literally sitting here, I'm sitting next to a window and there's my yard is like outside this window. And so what I wanna do is like, maybe I would have me, you know, sitting here and like this is my chair or whatever, and I'm looking like out like my window. And outside here, like I can see like my jumps and stuff like that. All right, so maybe like that's like the picture, you know, like this is the picture and then this is the picture or something like that. You guys, there's a bajillion different ways that I can illustrate this, okay? But I want you guys to be thinking this out. I want you guys to like have some concepts. So today, what your homework is, like what I expect you guys to be working on is I want you to make that list. All right, that list of emotions. All right, I want you to really think about the things that you felt. The longer you make that list, the easier this is going to be because you're going to have more stuff to work off of. Then think about the one that really hits you the hardest. Okay, how are you handling being scared or lonely or being sad or whatever emotion like you thought of? All right, and I'm going to think like I'm choosing like the boredom like one, and then like next to that, then list out all the different ways that you can deal with being bored. All right, cleaning, cooking, yoga, digging, riding, watching movies, blah, 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 like all these different things, walking my dog, okay? So I've got all these different ideas of how I'm dealing with my boredom, okay? And then over on this side of your paper, all right, or separate piece of paper or whatever, I want you to doodle out a bunch of thumbnail sketches, all right? Don't make them in depth, just quick squiggles, like you can see like my drawings, they're quick, gestural, like very quick drawings. Play around with it, think about how you're gonna create this thing, okay? How you're gonna like create these images. Ideally, we're looking at like 3 to 4 images, having one being like your negative emotion, having a transition, and then how you're dealing with it. So maybe how you're dealing with it might be multiple images. It might just be one image. There might be multiple images within one image, okay? It's up to you how you wanna play with that, but kind of be thinking about how that's gonna look, okay? In your description, so you're going to put this on, you're going to take a picture of this when you're done. You're going to put it in your daily share. And when you put it in your daily share, you guys, I want you to write down some notes. All right, there's the area for notes like under the slide. And describe to me what you're going to do. So what's the emotion? How are you dealing with it? And then describe what's happening in your thumbnail pictures. Now, if I showed my thumbnail pictures to somebody, they would probably look at those and be like, I have no idea what any of those things are. That's why I need you guys to like make some descriptions. So tell me what's going to happen in the first frame. What's going to happen in that transitional frame. What's going to happen in the final frame. All right? Let's just say 3 frames. Okay? If we had to segment like that last one up a little bit, we can. But you guys, like let's focus on like 3 and then making that last one, you know, whatever. We'll figure it out. Okay? So that's your homework. That's what I want you guys working on. If you guys have questions, let me know. But hopefully this is relatively straightforward. Come up with some ideas, and we'll go from there. All right. Have a great day, guys. I'll talk to you later.